What if the greatest breakthroughs in your life don't come from hard work, but from a single moment of clarity? Einstein had it, Newton had it, even you have it, more often than you think. But why do some people reach those aha moments faster than others? Today we're diving into the forgotten psychology of insight learning, a mental superpower that schools rarely teach and science still tries to explain. This isn't just theory, it's the key to solving problems like a genius. Welcome to the Untold X. And these are the laws of insight learning. Stay with me, because what you're about to learn could change the way you think forever. Our minds are vast universes. Within them, countless thoughts, memories, and ideas swirl like galaxies. Sometimes, out of this cosmic dance, a new understanding ignites. This sudden spark of comprehension is the heart of insight learning theory. It's a fascinating way we humans, and even some other intelligent creatures, solve problems. Unlike slow, plodding trial and error, insight learning is about a sudden flash. It's the moment when the pieces of a puzzle, once scattered and confusing, suddenly click into place, revealing a clear picture. This theory helps us understand these profound light bulb moments and how they shape our ability to learn and innovate throughout our lives. Insight learning is not about randomly trying solutions until one works. That's a different kind of learning, more akin to a meteor bumping around in space until it finds a gravitational pull. Instead, insight involves a deeper cognitive process. It's about perceiving the problem in a new way, restructuring it in your mind. Imagine looking at a constellation. At first you see random stars, then someone points out the pattern, the shape, the story. Suddenly, you can't unsee it. That's the kind of mental shift we're talking about. This theory highlights the active role our minds play in constructing understanding. The importance of understanding insight learning stretches across many fields. Think about the great scientific discoveries. Many weren't just the result of more data. They came from a new way of seeing the existing data, a novel interpretation. Consider the everyday problems we face. Sometimes we get stuck, we hit a wall. Then, perhaps after a break or looking at it differently, the solution appears seemingly out of nowhere. This is insight at work. It's a fundamental aspect of human intelligence, a key to creativity and adaptation in an ever-changing world. Much like the universe itself constantly evolves and presents new mysteries to solve. Pioneers like psychologist Wolfgang Köhler first brought this idea to the forefront. He observed chimpanzees solving problems not through random guesses, but through moments of apparent sudden understanding. For instance, a chimp might struggle to reach a banana. Then, after a pause, it would suddenly stack boxes to reach its goal. This wasn't a slow, learned behavior. It was a flash of insight. These observations challenged earlier ideas that all learning was merely stimulus response. Insight learning showed us that there's more to the story, a complex internal universe of thought that can generate brilliant solutions. The aha moment, we've all felt it. It's that exhilarating rush when a difficult problem suddenly becomes clear. The solution appears, not in bits and pieces, but as a complete, elegant whole. This sudden illumination is the hallmark of insight. It's like a distant supernova, hidden for eons, suddenly bursting into view, changing our perception of the cosmic landscape. This experience isn't just about finding an answer, it's about the way the answer arrives, unexpectedly and with a profound sense of clarity. It feels like a gift from the muse, a whisper from the universe of understanding. This aha or eureka moment is characterized by its abruptness. You might be wrestling with a problem for hours, days, even weeks. You try different approaches, you get frustrated, you might even give up for a while. Then, often when you're least expecting it, perhaps while showering or taking a walk or just before drifting off to sleep, the solution crystallizes. It's not a gradual dawning, it's a switch flipping. The German psychologist Karl Bühler called this the Aha-Erlebnis, a distinct psychological experience that is both cognitive and emotional, bringing with it a sense of relief and joy. Consider the legendary story of Archimedes. Tasked with determining if a king's crown was pure gold, he puzzled over it. How could he measure its volume without melting it down? The answer came to him in the bath, as he noticed the water level rise when he got in. Eureka! I have found it, he supposedly exclaimed. The solution wasn't found by methodically testing different liquids or scales. It was a sudden understanding of the principle of displacement. This exemplifies how insight often involves seeing existing elements in a new transformative relationship. The feeling of certainty that accompanies these moments is also quite remarkable. When an insight strikes, the solution often feels undeniably correct, almost self-evident. It's as if the truth was there all along, veiled, and now the veil has been lifted. This conviction isn't based on external validation, at least not initially. It comes from the internal coherence of the solution itself. The pieces just fit so perfectly that alternative explanations seem to fade away. This powerful feeling motivates us to pursue the newfound solution and test its validity in the real world, much like astronomers are driven to verify a new cosmic theory. The journey to an aha moment often begins with how we first see the problem. This is where the first key principle or law of insight learning comes into play. Problem perception. It's all about how the problem is initially structured and represented in our minds. Think of it like an astronomer mapping a new sector of space. The initial chart might be incomplete or misleading. To find what you're looking for, you might need to redraw the map to see the celestial bodies and their relationships from a new perspective. Similarly, how we frame a problem dramatically influences our ability to solve it. If a problem is perceived in a way that hides the crucial relationships between its elements, insight will remain elusive. We might focus on irrelevant details or get stuck in a particular unhelpful approach. The mind needs to be able to grasp the overall structure, the gestalt or whole form of the problem. It's about seeing the forest, not just the individual trees. If you only see disconnected parts, it's hard to understand how they might work together to form a solution. A clear and accurate perception is the launchpad for insight. Wolfgang Köhler's experiments with chimpanzees vividly illustrate this. When a banana was placed out of reach and sticks were available, a chimp might initially fail to see the connection. It perceived the banana as one thing and the sticks as separate, unrelated objects. However, after a period of contemplation, some chimps would suddenly perceive the stick not just as a stick, but as a tool, an extension of their arm to reach the banana. This restructuring of perception, seeing the stick in a new functional light within the context of the problem, was the key to their insightful solution. Therefore, a critical step in fostering insight is to encourage a flexible and holistic perception of any challenge. Sometimes this means stepping back, looking at the bigger picture. Other times it involves breaking down preconceived notions about the elements involved. Can an object be used in an unconventional way? Are there hidden connections we're missing? By consciously trying to perceive the problem from different angles, by recharting its components and their potential relationships, we prepare the mental ground for that sudden, illuminating spark of understanding to occur, much like recalibrating a telescope to capture a clearer image of a distant galaxy. Following a clear perception of the problem, the next act in the drama of insight learning features two intertwined principles: the suddenness of the solution and the understanding of relationships. The first, suddenness, describes how the solution often appears. It's not a slow, inch-by-inch progression. Instead, it's like a star suddenly igniting in the darkness, a rapid, almost instantaneous arrival of the answer in conscious thought. This distinguishes insight from more methodical, step-by-step problem-solving approaches where progress feels more linear and predictable. The solution bursts forth fully formed. This sudden arrival is often preceded by a period of impasse. The problem solver might feel stuck, unable to make headway. They might have tried various strategies without success. This period of being stuck can be frustrating, but it seems to be a necessary precursor. It's as if the mind is working unconsciously, rearranging the pieces behind the scenes. Then, when the right configuration is found, the solution dramatically breaks through into awareness. This abrupt transition from confusion to clarity is a defining characteristic of the insightful experience. A true mental leap rather than a crawl. The second principle, intrinsically linked to suddenness, is the understanding of relationships. The aha moment isn't just a random good idea. It's the sudden grasp of how different elements of the problem connect to each other in a meaningful way to form the solution. Before the insight, these elements might have seemed disparate or unrelated. The insight reveals their hidden interconnectedness, their logical fit. It's like finally seeing how all the gears in a complex cosmic clockwork mesh together to produce a precise movement. This understanding is what gives the solution its coherence and power. For example, in a classic puzzle, you might be given several objects and a goal. Initially, you might not see how a seemingly unrelated item could be useful. Then, suddenly you realize that this object, when combined or used in a particular way with another, creates the perfect tool or pathway to the solution. This new understanding of the relationship between the object and the goal, or between different objects, is the core of the insight. The solution appears suddenly precisely because this new web of relationships is perceived all at once, transforming the entire problem landscape in an instant. Echoes of past galaxies, the law of previous experience. While insight often feels like it comes out of the blue, a bolt from a clear sky, it doesn't arise in a vacuum. Our past experiences, our accumulated knowledge, form the rich nebula from which new stars of understanding can ignite. This is the essence of the fourth key law, the role of previous experience. Insightful solutions are not conjured from nothingness. Instead, they involve a novel recombination or restructuring of existing knowledge and skills. The mind draws upon what it already knows, but sees it in a new light, a new configuration. Imagine an astronomer discovering a new type of celestial object. Their discovery isn't made with an empty mind. It builds upon years of studying physics, understanding how telescopes work, and knowing patterns of previously observed phenomena. Similarly, when we face a new problem, our brain actively scans its archives of past encounters, learned principles, and acquired skills. These stored memories act as the raw materials. The insight occurs when these materials are assembled in an original way, perfectly suited to the current challenge. It's a creative reapplication of what's already there. However, previous experience can sometimes be a double-edged sword. While it provides the necessary building blocks, it can also lead to fixation or mental set. This happens when past successful solutions make us rigid in our thinking, preventing us from seeing alternative, more creative approaches. We might try to apply an old solution to a new problem where it doesn't quite fit, simply because it worked before. Overcoming this mental rigidity is often a key step towards achieving insight. The mind needs to be flexible enough to break free from old patterns when necessary. Therefore, the most effective use of previous experience in fostering insight involves not just having a wealth of knowledge, but also the ability to access and manipulate that knowledge flexibly. It's about being able to deconstruct old ideas and reconstruct them into something new. Think of it like a cosmic chef having a vast pantry of ingredients or experiences and the skill to combine them in novel and surprising ways to create a new dish or solution. The richness of past learning provides the potential, but mental flexibility unlocks the insightful breakthrough. Bridging star systems, the law of transfer. Once an insight has illuminated a solution to a specific problem, its journey isn't necessarily over. A truly powerful insight often possesses the ability to travel, to be applied to new related challenges. This is the fifth key law: transfer. Transfer refers to the application of knowledge, skills, and understandings gained in one situation to different, often novel situations. It's like understanding a fundamental law of physics, such as gravity, and then using that understanding to predict the motion of planets, stars, and even entire galaxies, contexts far beyond the original observation of a falling apple. When we truly understand the principle behind a solution, not just the superficial steps, we can generalize it. This is a hallmark of deep learning as opposed to rote memorization. If a student solves a math problem through insight, they grasp the underlying mathematical concept. They can then tackle other problems that share that same conceptual structure, even if the numbers or the story around the problem are different. This ability to transfer learning demonstrates a robust and flexible understanding, a key goal of any educational endeavor. The effectiveness of transfer depends heavily on how well the core principle of the insight was understood and encoded. If the learning was superficial, tied only to the specific details of the original problem, transfer is less likely. However, if the learner perceived the deeper structure, the relationships, and the why behind the solution, they are much better equipped to recognize similar structures in new problems. This is why fostering deep understanding, rather than just correct answers, is so crucial. It empowers the learner to become an independent problem solver in a variety of contexts. Consider innovation in technology. A breakthrough in one field, like a new material developed for space exploration, might be transferred and adapted to create better medical implants or more efficient consumer electronics. The initial insight into the material's properties can spark a cascade of applications across different star systems of human endeavor. This process of transfer is a powerful engine for progress. It allows humanity to build upon its collective insights, leveraging past discoveries to illuminate future challenges and create solutions that span diverse domains. Illuminating minds and markets insight in education and business. The principles of insight learning are not just abstract psychological concepts, they have profound practical applications in shaping how we learn and how we innovate. In the realm of education, understanding insight encourages a shift away from mere rote memorization towards fostering genuine comprehension. Instead of just feeding students facts, like pouring water into a pre-shaped vessel, educators can design experiences that encourage students to discover connections for themselves. The goal becomes to spark those aha moments, where a student suddenly grasps a concept deeply and meaningfully. This means creating learning environments where students can explore, experiment, and even struggle a bit. Presenting problems that require restructuring or that have multiple potential pathways to a solution can be highly beneficial. Teachers can act as guides, prompting students to look at challenges from different angles, rather than simply handing them the answers. When a student experiences that flash of insight, the learning is more profound, more memorable, and more transferable. It's like teaching someone to navigate by the stars themselves, rather than just giving them a map to a single destination. In the dynamic world of business, insight is the currency of innovation and competitive advantage. Companies thrive when they can solve problems creatively and anticipate market shifts. Fostering an environment where insights can emerge is crucial. This might involve creating cross-functional teams that bring diverse perspectives to a problem, encouraging brainstorming sessions where wild ideas are welcomed, or allowing employees time for reflection and unstructured thinking. The next big product or a game-changing strategy often begins with a single, powerful insight. Think about a company facing a declining market share. A traditional approach might involve cost-cutting or aggressive marketing of existing product. An insight-driven approach, however, might lead to a complete re-evaluation of customer needs or the discovery of an entirely new market segment. This requires stepping back, perceiving the business landscape differently, and understanding new relationships between the company's capabilities and emerging opportunities. Businesses that cultivate a culture of insight are like observatories constantly scanning the horizon for new cosmic phenomena, ready to adapt and innovate. New worlds of healing and thought insight in therapy and AI. Beyond classrooms and boardrooms, the power of insight extends into realms as personal as mental well-being and as futuristic as artificial intelligence. In therapy, particularly in psychodynamic and cognitive therapies, a client gaining insight into their own thoughts, feelings, and behaviors can be a pivotal moment. This is often an aha experience where patterns of behavior, perhaps rooted in past experiences, suddenly become clear. This newfound understanding isn't just intellectual, it can be deeply emotional and transformative, providing the clarity needed to make positive changes. A therapist might guide a client to explore their experiences and feelings, not by giving direct advice, but by helping them see connections they hadn't noticed before. For example, a person might realize how a childhood experience unconsciously influences their current relationships. This sudden understanding can be incredibly liberating, like finding a hidden map to one's own inner universe. It can reduce confusion, alleviate distress, and empower the individual to develop healthier coping mechanisms and relational patterns, leading to significant improvements in their quality of life. In the cutting-edge field of artificial intelligence, researchers are striving to imbue machines with something akin to human insight. Current AI is incredibly powerful at pattern recognition and learning from vast data sets, often through processes analogous to trial and error on a massive scale. However, true insight, the ability to solve a completely novel problem creatively or to restructure understanding in a flash, remains a significant challenge. Developing AI that can have aha moments is a grand ambition, aiming to create machines that don't just compute but genuinely understand and innovate. Imagine AI that could look at complex scientific data and propose entirely new theories, not just refine existing ones, or an AI that could solve intricate global challenges by perceiving unforeseen connections and formulating groundbreaking solutions. While still largely in the realm of exploration, the pursuit of insightful AI draws inspiration from our understanding of human cognition. By studying how our own minds produce these brilliant sparks, scientists hope to one day create artificial systems that can illuminate new frontiers of knowledge, perhaps even helping us understand the universe in ways we can't yet conceive. Insight's enduring orbit, why it still matters. The journey through the landscape of insight learning reveals its profound and enduring relevance. From the way a child first understands a new concept to the breakthroughs that redefine scientific paradigms, insight is a fundamental engine of human progress and personal growth. It's the quiet power that rearranges the familiar into the extraordinary, the spark that turns confusion into clarity. In a world that is constantly changing, presenting us with new and complex challenges, the ability to achieve insight is more critical than ever. It's our innate capacity to look beyond the surface and discover deeper truths, understanding the mechanisms of insight, the importance of perception, the suddenness of discovery, the role of prior knowledge, and the power of transfer allows us to consciously cultivate it in ourselves and others. We can design better educational systems that go beyond rote learning. We can build more innovative businesses that thrive on creative problem solving. We can foster therapeutic approaches that lead to profound personal breakthroughs. We can even aspire to build more intelligent machines that mirror this remarkable human capacity. The principles are like universal laws, governing the emergence of understanding across diverse domains. The aha moment is not just a curious quirk of our minds. It's a testament to our cognitive flexibility and our unceasing drive to make sense of the universe, both within and around us. It reminds us that solutions often lie hidden in plain sight, waiting for a shift in perspective to bring them into focus. It encourages us to embrace periods of uncertainty and struggle, knowing they can be the fertile ground from which sudden clarity springs. This process is vital for navigating the complexities of modern life, where adaptability and creative thinking are paramount. Ultimately, insight learning illuminates the remarkable potential of the human mind. It shows us that we are not just passive recipients of information, but active constructors of meaning. Each flash of insight is a small act of creation, a testament to our ability to see the world anew. As we continue to explore the vast cosmos of knowledge and experience, fostering insight will remain a key to unlocking new discoveries, solving intractable problems, and enriching the human experience. It is the enduring light that guides our quest for understanding, a beacon in the ongoing adventure of learning and discovery. Now that you understand the laws of insight learning, the real question is, how will you use them? Whether you're solving a business problem, studying, or making life decisions, insight might be the game changer you've been missing. If this sparked something in you, hit that like button to let the algorithm know, and subscribe for more untold truths that unlock your potential. And if you think this video was deep, wait until you see what we uncovered next. Because here on the Untold X, we don't just ask questions, we reveal the answers the world forgot to tell you.